Can you really rank a website without writing content? Most people have a hard time creating content. And even when they write some content, their websites may not be getting lots of traffic. So, is there really a way to rank a website without writing content? Hey everyone, I'm Patel, and today I'm going to break down how you can rank a website without writing content. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. Here's a quick stat for you. 82% of marketers report actively using content in marketing in 2021. That's up from 70% from the previous year according to HubSpot. Now, I don't have the current version numbers or stat when it comes to how many people are leveraging content marketing, but that's still a crazy stat. Content marketing works amazingly well, but it's going to get more and more competitive every year as marketers start giving it more focus in their mix. Look, the best time for opportunity is for you to start leveraging content now. And I remember when I started content marketing years and years ago, I'm talking about 10 plus years ago, wasn't as competitive. There also wasn't as much search volume in Google, but it worked like a charm. I could write any mediocre piece of content and boom, you can rank on page 1 of Google. Build a little bit of links, rank even in the top 3. Nowadays, you can have the best piece of content, you can have a lot of links, it doesn't guarantee the rankings. Look, the answer is when you're doing SEO as your main strategy to gain traffic, then yes, writing content is king. You can still rank a website without content. If you have some content, that's good enough, but you need some form of it. Keep this in mind, if your page has no text at all, Google won't really know what your page is about. You still need content in your title, your headings, your call to actions, maybe a paragraph here or there. That's all examples of content. But the point I'm trying to get is you don't necessarily need to write hundreds of blog posts to necessarily get tons of SEO traffic. It doesn't hurt. It actually helps, but it doesn't mean that you won't have any traffic if you don't write tons of content. And if you hate writing content, you're bad at it, or you just don't have enough time to do it yourself, there's always ways to ramp up your content without necessarily writing it. And if you're getting started and you want to learn how to do content marketing to skyrocket your traffic, I have another video that walks you through that process. You can just look on my YouTube channel. I actually have more than another video. I have tons of videos. Well, first off, let's dive right in on how you can start getting traction without really writing content. So the first thing you can do is test new titles, aka your headlines, and see if you can improve your click-through rate on Google Search Console. You can also use tools like ClickFlow. Now here's an example of how that's powerful. Rand Fishkin, years and years ago, told everyone to Google best grilled steak or a variation of that and click on the second result. Or actually it was maybe the 4th result. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I do remember it. And what ended up happening is that site went from being, let's say, number 4 to number 1, and it also started ranking higher for other keywords. That's an example of higher click-through rates. And the way he got those clicks is he told people on Twitter to go do a search, click on the first result, click the back button, and then go click on roughly the 4th result, and then boom, in less than a few hours, it popped up to the top. But here's the thing, you can't do that because it's not scalable for your own site. He more so did it for experiment, but you can test your title, right? Try to make it more appealing, get that creativity going, so then that way you can get more clicks. Another thing that you can do, and this doesn't involve writing more content, it's actually removing some content, is remove cannibalizing content. In other words, when you consolidate content on the same topic or roughly the same topic, you'll start doing better. For example, I was always wondering, Neil, why don't I rank so high for this keyword SEO? Well, I may not rank high for this keyword called SEO because I may have 20 articles that say Beginner's Guide to SEO, how to get started in SEO, how SEO works. You get how they're pretty much all the same thing. That's when you need to consolidate, and when you do that, your rankings start getting better. I did that, and now I'm on page 1 for the term SEO. See, when you're consolidating, you want to see which one is best. What's already getting majority of the SEO traffic, has majority of the backlinks, that's the one that you typically want to use, and then you want to fold the other ones into it. And when you do that, redirect the other ones that aren't doing that well and do it through a 301 redirect. Another thing you can do is just find new internal linking opportunities. Whenever you're touching a subject that's related to another page on your website, internally link to that page. Don't focus too much on the exact anchor text. Just focus on relevancy and what's best for the user. Getting more internal link juice flowing to those pages will cause them to rank harder. And use schema and structured markup. You've heard about FAQ page schema. You can also use tools like Ubersays to find out which SERP features are present in the search results for the keyword that you're targeting. And if you notice that there's a certain type of search feature that's ranking for a keyword that you should start optimizing for other similar keywords with structured markups that'll help you get there. Some examples of that are review structure markup, product markup, offer markup, local business markup. Now, another thing that I want you to do is keep in mind that more people search Google on mobile devices than their desktop devices. You want to make sure that your website is responsive. That way, whether someone has a big mobile device or a small one, your website shows up clearly. You also want to use accelerated mobile pages or AMP, so then that way, your pages that are content-based load faster for mobile load time. And if you want content but you don't want to write, you can either go to the ProBlogger job board and hire writers, or you can just work with guest contributors. We did this with Crazyegg. Crazyegg was one of my older companies. We hired a small writing team. They did their SEO research, their keyword research, competitive research. They even outlined content, and we had content writers and fact searching, and we used stats to back up all our points. And guess what happened with Crazyegg? We ended up generating over 200,000 visitors a month purely because of all those guest contributors. And another thing that you can do if you want to do really well, and we did the strategy on Crazyegg, is find people who can go create compelling images like infographics, or can find interesting images out there and create them themselves using tools like Canva. And this is what we call visual content or infographics. It's a really simple way to make complex information easier to understand. If you do that, not only will people link to it, but your audience is going to be really happy, and you're going to start seeing all your other content rank higher. The last piece of feedback I have for you is use other platforms beyond SEO in your content marketing mix. Podcasts, great form of content. You can actually transcribe the podcast into text without doing much work. Video content, publish it on YouTube, your social properties, repurpose it. Heck, just bust out a phone and record yourself. You can also publish lightweight educational content on social media platforms through things like image carousels or short videos, dumbing down complex ideas, or attention-grabbing images with long-form text descriptions on social media platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, or even Facebook. If you follow all that, you'll start getting some traction even if you're not writing tons of content. And if you have the honor and the privilege to do so, either go hire the writers or start writing it yourself, because more content does help. Even though it doesn't mean you have to write content to rank, if you want more traffic, like not thousands of visitors, I'm talking about millions and millions and millions of visitors, eventually you're going to have to create tons of content. But it doesn't mean it's the end of the world if you can't. There's still some solutions out there like the ones I described today. And if you just need help and want my team to do all this for you, check out my ad agency, NP Digital, where we just help companies with their content marketing, SEO, in essence, all forms of their digital marketing. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it, tell people about it. If you got any questions, leave a comment below. I'm here to help. Thank you for watching.